let's get on this. Don't choke on woke, go broke, etc., etc., etc. It's been going on. All you gotta do is look no further than Bud Light. Look no farther than Bud Light. Look at the stocks, they're losing a billion plus per day. All because of an overzealous, overly woke marketing executive who, chances are, she was promoted based off of her gender. That's just my personal opinion. Don't know this for a fact, but I can see that happening very easily, and it has happened over the last 5 to 10 years very easily in these companies who want to kiss the butts of the veg society, even when it's not warranted or unjustly given, even if it's at the detriment to men. And because of that, you're seeing the downfall of these companies. Bud Light is just the first major company that's in a tailspin right now. All this because they wanted to get a dude to do commercials to appeal to a certain segment of society, which is not the dominant customer of Bud Light in the first place. So basically, you alienate your foundation and who contributed to build you into the powerhouse that you are. You basically slap them in the face and turn your back on them by doing that. And you wonder why you're losing thousands of dollars a day in revenue. Stock shares plummeting. You go to baseball games, you go to professional games, you look at Bud Light beer stands, there's nobody there. People are purposely avoiding buying Bud Light at all costs. Whether you're at a professional game, there's overstocks in stores, they're just sitting there now. You've created a perpetual landslide. Now, anytime a man is seen drinking a Bud Light in anywhere in society, nowadays people are going to be looking at that man differently. And it has nothing to do with hate or discriminating or nothing like that. Nowadays, it's going to be like a thought in the back of our minds, like, wonder if he's part of that community. So it's a double-edged sword now. So now men have a double reason to not even go near Bud Light. One, to avoid that question mark in people's head that might see them drinking it even. And he could be nowhere near being part of that community. But to avoid that, and that man as an individual might not support all this overly wokeism that's going on in society today, of which the person that Bud Light chose to endorse and curate a campaign behind embodies that. And I hope other companies are looking at this and getting the message. People are sick and tired of all this overly woke progressiveness that's being pushed. And ironically, you could say it started out as a way to, people want to be treated fairly, they want to be treated equally. Okay, fine. But now you've reached a point where anybody that disagrees with that, whether they say it to you directly or they just have a difference of opinion, well, okay, you live your life that way, I live my life in a traditional way. So now, if you so much as say that you're a traditional man, all of a sudden that's deemed as you're hating this other group of people. So basically, the very thing that you claim that you're fighting against, you're the arbiters of that right now. You're perpetuating it right now. There's a movement right in our faces right now, basically to discriminate against straight men, to demonize and destroy straight men. There is an active campaign going on right now. There is an active war going on in society, especially in American society, to destroy the straight male, to destroy masculinity as a whole, which is where the whole toxic masculinity trope was born from. Nowadays, they don't even want, I remember when I was a kid, and we used to have BB guns as toys. We used to have cap guns. Now you still have super soaker like water guns now, but like when I was a kid, there were all different types of water guns. Of course, they were modeled after real guns, but they were water guns. One of my favorite toy guns when I was a kid was the cap gun. Made the loud popping sound when you pull the trigger. Pop, 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 pop. I don't even think they make those anymore. I think there's been an active movement to phase out all those things. All those things little boys historically liked and loved back in the day are being villainized now. When boys go out and play rough and tumble, which is it's basically a pickup game of football, they get told don't be so rough by their mothers, who are often single mothers. Don't be so rough. Don't do that. You're playing too rough. This is what made little boys boys. What allowed them to be able to grow into men. The roughness, the jaggedness. Yeah, we would come back with bumps and bruises. Sometimes we would break bones and stuff like that, but it made us stronger men because of it. I told this story before. I'm gonna go again. I remember when I was a kid, and a drug on to probably sophomore year of high school, but it was mostly like the friends that I went to school with from like grade school to middle school to high school. The ideology, the thought behind the movie Fight Club is not original. See, a lot of us who had parents, guardians, whatever you had, they didn't have that much money. I didn't grow up with that much money. We didn't have money like that. So my mom would give me lunch money. She couldn't afford to give me allowance, but she could afford to give me a little bit of lunch money. And there were a lot of other young boys in the same category. What we used to do, we used to bet that money. It used to be like 5 to 15 of us. We would have organized fistfights. Anything goes. If it's a situation where you can't breathe, whatever, we had a way to let people know you give up with this and that. But it was literal fistfights. That was how, if you were good with your hands or you were good at wrestling, that was how you turned your little bit of lunch money that you got from your parents, and you could double, triple, quadruple that up into some hangout money and have fun money for the weekend. Because families couldn't afford allowance, so that's how we earned our allowances. And a big part of that, the best times, the most fun times, is when we used to do it in the snow. It could be a blizzard outside, be just random snow, 2, 3, 4 feet of snow on the ground. And if we could get up enough people, 5, the goal would always be to get at least 10 people Because if you can go undefeated, you would rack up. Or if you would leave with like maybe one loss, you could make some nice money just based off of your allowances you was getting. There was times we would bleed all over the snow, be blood everywhere. It just almost like it rained blood on the ground. It's crazy. But if we was being raised in today's times, you would have women in your family telling you, you guys are playing so rough. No, I don't want you out there doing that. No, that's dangerous. No, you can't do that. This is kind of where we live in today. If there was ever a situation where this country had to form a draft, and of course they say they go after the young adults, 18 to 25 first, because they're young, able-bodied. In theory, their bodies are stronger. Supposedly, they would go after them first. This country would be finished if we ever was in a situation where we had to do that. Because these marshmallow soft Gen Zers, who 1 in 4 of them subscribe to that alternative community, we had to rely on them to defend this country. Half of them wouldn't go, they would run and hide. And the ones that would go would be more concerned with breaking their nails or scratching up the boys would be concerned with scratching up their painted nails. This country would be finished. And this is the kind of mindset and ideology that Bud Light was reaching out to. They wanted to capitalize on it. They know about the generation of Gen Zers who are predominantly leaning in that direction of that alternative community. So that's who they were targeting. And basically spitting in the face of the generations that built them and made them into what they were today. And I say were because they're plummeting fast. Their stocks are going in the toilet. One of their big revenue streams, I don't care what they say or anybody say, you go to any baseball game in the spring and in the summertime, and those beer stands, the line would be so damn long. The whole time you be contemplating, how much do I really want this beer? But you know what? You would stay in that line so you could get your beer. So imagine at a Major League Baseball game, looking at the Bud Light stand and nobody's there. Nobody. I'm sure some of you have seen that video footage. A guy recording the Bud Light stand at a baseball game. I think it was a Boston Red Sox baseball game. Fenway Park. That's because people are just sick and tired of every little thing. Is just a woke agenda behind it. I was just talking about this earlier. One of my favorite movies from the 80s was Big Trouble in Little China. And if you've seen Big Trouble in Little China, for that movie to be created in today's time, it would definitely get canceled. The actors and actresses that would play characters in that movie, it would definitely be canceled if they even did it in the traditional sense of the first one. But see, now, when I think about it, in today's society, they would completely ruin that franchise and turn it into some ultra woke. This marginalized group got to be represented. This group got to be represented. This group got to be represented. Okay, now we have a whole array of representation of these different groups. Now, what do we do next? Oh, well, guess what? You forgot to write the damn script. Care more about the appearance and pushing an agenda, a woke agenda. Care more about that than actually writing a good script and telling a great story so you can direct a great movie. And that's the problem. That's a big problem with Hollywood right now. So wrapped up and obsessed with pandering to people. This is a big reason why the WNBA, nobody cares about that crap either. Because for one thing, this is my own personal opinion, and take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is. Girls basketball to me is boring. Professional girls basketball to me is even worse. It's terrible. It's boring. I would not invest my time or money into supporting that. And the women in that league, around that league, everybody has the audacity to be mad at the men. Why don't you guys support? We support things that we like. I believe that was the actual answer from somebody. They actually asked the guy why don't they support the WNBA, and they were told we support the things they like. And that's not the first time a guy has responded like that. So ironically, I wouldn't be surprised if guys responding like that has brought on this onslaught of let's remake all the wonderful movies of the past that traditional men loved. The video game space, let's invade that. Traditional men congregate and enjoy. The comic book industry, let's co-opt that. Bring it to the big screen. Let's incorporate a whole bunch of wokeism into that. And let's just flat out ruin it for traditional men. Traditional straight men. Traditionally masculine straight men who like these sort of things. Who indulge these things as a mental break, entertainment, relaxation. A way to recharge our batteries because we're out in the world making a living for our loved ones every day. Doing thankless jobs, doing thankless things. But it has to be done because of men like us. And now there's this concerted effort to rob us of the things that we love as a way to buck break us all. Because they don't want us to be happy. They want us to submit to this alternative way of thinking, even though we know better. And they should, you would think they should thank their heavenly stars or whatever deity they choose to worship that we will not submit. Because if we did, other countries who have a beef with America would storm in here and take everything over. We would all be products of the gulag. Traditional jobs that we see today, no, they would be turned into the gulag. All our little technology and little gadgets and widgets and stuff like that would be turned over to these foreign invaders. It would be back to working in the coal mines, washing military vehicles for scraps, just so we can get a half-eaten chicken wing from a foreign soldier as he just tosses it to the ground. Thank you, sir. Can I shine your boots for you? This is what this country would turn into if traditional men sat back and did nothing and said nothing. So me, personally, I am very thankful and I am happy that Bud Light is getting exactly what it deserves. And that marketing exec whose idea was to start this campaign, I'm hearing conflicting stories. I heard she was fired. Now I'm hearing she was suspended. Whatever the case is, she got exactly what she deserved because she tried to come in as the Trojan horse to dismantle the ideology behind. And she even said this so much as she wanted to go against the frat boy kind of thinking, which is historically what the whole beer industry and culture was built upon anyway. You didn't have to graduate college, but if you went to college for any amount of time, you've seen firsthand how big beer is on a college campus, whether we were underaged or not. As far as the whole frat guy thinking and drinking beer and hollering at honeys with the nice little shapes and pouring beer on their boobs and stuff like that and on their naked butt, yeah, that was the culture. That was you damn right. Even married men today hark back and think back to their college days when they were engaging in those fantastic activities, just enjoying the whole ambiance, drinking, chugging down pitchers of beer, chug, 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 pouring pitchers of beer on the bodies of naked women, beer t-shirt contests, and the women loved it. Women of all races, white, black, it didn't matter. Did not matter one bit. The whole culture was lit. Better men because of it. Because it provided us balance. Balance within our memories that we can use as a compass to guide us today. Now you look at Gen Z and a lot of millennials where they say 1 in 4 identify with a certain community. They're part of the army of these woke leftists that's pushing this agenda to destroy straight men, masculine men. And historically, it's not going to work in the long run. It's not going to work in the long run because we not going anywhere. And there's people waking up to the nonsense that's been pushed, going out of your way to target men, make men look like buffoons and stupid ogres, and we can't figure anything out unless we have a woman tell us what to do. Nah, we ain't going for that. It's a bunch of nonsense. First of all, the very industry, the military that protects this country is ran by men. The men do the hard lifting and the brute work of the military. When brute force is needed, as far as ground troops are concerned, men are spearheading that. That's what makes it the greatest military on the planet. At least it used to, because now you have advertisements from the Navy using an enlisted member who seemingly, I don't know if he's actually a part of that group, but in the advertisement for the Navy, he dresses in drag to attract new recruits. And who are they targeting? The Gen Zers who 1 in 4 identify with that group. It's the whole thing now. They're trying to push the agenda to make it normal, and they don't understand the pushback they're getting from it. Because like it or not, love it or hate it, it's not normal. Because if it was normal, two people of the same sex wouldn't need any kind of interference. They could have relations with each other, and one of them would get pregnant and produce another human being. That right there tells you that it's not normal. So why are we making non-normal things normal? Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I wanted to just get on here for a minute to spit my thoughts on this. But I, for one, I'm glad Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch as a parent company, I'm glad they're getting exactly what they're getting what you deserve. And all you woke leftist ideological companies that want to follow in their footsteps, go right ahead. Because men, traditional men, we will stand against you. And we will boycott you out of business because we know one thing that you like and love. Same thing that all of us do. Money. You need that to conduct business. You need that to live in society. Take that away, oh, you will learn.